Hey, what up, though, guys? Good afternoon. As I say each and every week, it is Thankful Thursdays, and we have the activities of our limbs. We ain't in nobody's hospital, we ain't in nobody's jail, and we are definitely praying for those that are in the hospital, in somebody's jail, that don't have the activities of their limbs, because we are extremely blessed. If you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, y'all already know. Before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I'm your host, Zsa Zsa Hubbard, and I wanted to talk to you guys today about what if you were loved the right way? What if you were loved the right way? And so many of us, oftentimes, we're living in a world where we are not only dealing with a pandemic, COVID, and we're also dealing with race war, with our culture continually being oppressed and being murdered and being put in positions where we have to deal with the scrapes and the scraps that we've been given. But we also have an issue with dealing with the traumas that have happened within our lives. And a lot of that comes right down to not being loved correctly. And if truth be told, we are all looking to be loved the right way, whether it was loved from our parents, our mother and our fathers, whether it was loved by our mates, loved by our friends, loved at, the places of employment that we worked, or just giving that aura of love. We're all in search of that. One of the things that I've noticed is that there are so many single people, and COVID showed us how single a lot of people were. Like, people were sliding in people's DMs, like going straight for the home run in baseball. And the thing about it is that everybody puts on this facade as if, oh, I don't need to be loved, and, love don't live here, and my heart cold, and, that whole little facade of, they're bigger than love itself. And 9 times out of 10, nobody is bigger than love itself, because the thing that I love most about God is the fact that God is love. And a lot of times we are often looking for love in the wrong places. And last week I talked about family ties and don't lose your soul, because in order for you to get that family that you desire, you have to come to a place where you are building those relationships so that you can have that family you desire. I had the opportunity of growing up with a really close friend of mine, and I used to beg my mama, like, Mom, please, can I spend a night at their house? Please, can I spend a night? And my mama was not the type of mama that let me spend a night, or any of my brothers and sisters for that matter, spend a night at anybody's house. I don't know what y'all mamas was doing, but my mama didn't play that. My mama needed to know who lived in that house. Was there any men in that house? Who lived where. So, mama didn't play that spend a night stuff. You know what I'm saying? She, in order for us to spend a night somewhere, she had to literally know your whole life story, because before she let anything go down. And I know that because there were things that happened to my mom when she was younger that made her precautious about her children going to spend a night at somebody's house. And when you genuinely have love for the people that you are governing or leading, there's a different type of way that you handle a person that you love and care about. The Bible talks about in John 3:16, I remember going to vacation Bible school, and every time we went to vacation Bible school, we had to come here with a scripture. And if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm adding more to it. We're talking about if you were loved the right way. If you were loved the right way. And it's a question that I pose to a lot of you. Have you been loved the right way? There are so many of us that are single, and there are so many of us that are in relationships that we really don't even want to be in, because we're not even being loved the correct way. And not only are we not being loved the correct way, we're not even loving ourselves the correct way. And so every time I would go to Vacation Bible School, we would always have to have a scripture to get into Vacation Bible School, or to be in compliance. And my go-to scripture was always John 3:16. It was, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. And I always used to sit and ponder and ask God, like, you know, if you real or whatever, why would you want to give up your only begotten son? Like, that's your only kid. Like, you gonna give up your son for the world so that whoever believe in your son shall not perish but have everlasting life? Like, that's a true type of love, because one of the things that I've learned is that love is servitude. It's serving. It's serving the other person. It's serving the people in which you claim that you love. And that's why a lot of people don't feel like they are being loved correctly, because they'll love somebody and the other person is going to take. And then the other person doesn't want to seem as if, you know, they're too prideful or they're too vulnerable to be put in a position where they don't want to be on no sucker stuff. You know how fellas are. They don't want to seem like they smitten over a woman or they really digging her, you know, or even with these new chicks, they like, you know, if he don't got no money and he don't got this and I ain't, and this, that, and the third. Love has been diminished, where it's the last thing that we think about. You know, we jump hurdles to sleep in a bed with somebody. We jump hurdles to have that sexual connection with somebody, because some of y'all down there itching. You're itching and scratching, and if you don't be careful, you might be itching and scratching for the rest of your life. So you got to be careful of jumping the gun and putting the cart before the horse. And even when we're dealing with this pandemic and COVID, a lot of people are, you know, so excited to get out here in these streets and to be amongst people, because we are people's people. We want to be around other energies. We want to be around other people. And the thing about it is that in our desire to do so, we still have to be precautious about ourselves, because at the end of the day, don't nobody got time for no COVID, because you want to hang out in the streets and be up in somebody's face. Don't nobody got time for that. And you might want to be careful that not only you don't miss your blessing, but you don't want to miss out on a burden, because you want to be hot to try and be up in somebody's face. And one of the things that I thought about when I thought about John 3:16, about how somebody can love something and somebody so much that they give up something. And usually when you're not loved correctly, and that's what I'm talking about today. If you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Some of us have not been loved correctly, and because we haven't been loved correctly, we find it hard to either let people love us or love other people. You want to know why you aren't in a relationship, or why you don't have strong family ties, or why there are so many issues? Is because love is not in the proximity of what it is that you're building. See, when love is the center of why you do things, it makes it much easier to deal with people or those things. It's like a person that loves their job. Another person may hate their job, and they come in late. They ain't in compliance. They don't care about the customers. They don't care about what they produce. They don't care about the productivity. They don't care about the goals. But if you've ever worked with somebody that loves their job, they come in early, they leave late, they go the above and beyond, the extra mile to satisfy a customer's needs. That's when they love what they do. You know, they give their all to whatever it is that they're doing. It's like a kid or athlete that loves being a part of the team. They're gonna go hard for the team. They're gonna do those extra push-ups. They gonna make sure that they drink their muscle milk or whatever the case may be, so that way they can be at their best, because they love what they do. It's like a woman who gets loved correctly by a man. When a woman is loved correctly by a man, there's nothing that woman won't do for her man, when she's loved correctly by that man. But if a man deems to be so prideful and egotistical and chauvinistic, where he feel like he don't gotta show her that he care about her, or, you know, he don't want to look like no sucker in front of his friends, and he wants to be combative, that's not the type of love that you need, ladies. And it goes the same way with men. Men get oppressed by women as well, because we want, or we're nagging, and this man is doing all that he can do to satisfy you, but it never seems to be enough, because you're measuring his love with reality TV and what you see on the screen. And some of us can be so caught up in a fantasy world because we watch all of these, you know, sitcoms and You know, I remember watching, I started watching Power, and I kind of fell off. I didn't even watch the whole season, but I remember watching Power, and I remember women talking about, oh, I want a man like Ghost, and, you know, I want him to be like, you know, I want to love like this, and I want to love like that. And it used to be like, and I used to be like, yeah, this is a sitcom. This is a fictional sitcom, and a lot of times we go into such a deep, because our brains operate on such a high level, that we will literally place our relationship in the same status of a TV show or reality show, because that is what we're guiding our love to. And if we're talking about a love like 1 Corinthians, you know, 13, 4 and 5, that love is kind. That love is patient. That love doesn't boast. It doesn't envy. It doesn't keep record of wrongdoings. It doesn't make you feel small. You know, and I was growing up, and you know, I didn't know how a woman was supposed to be treated per se, but I knew what I did not want from a man when I got to an age to date. My father, he would abuse my mother every day, to the point where I literally attacked my own father to protect my mother, which was one of the most detrimental times of my life, because here it is, I have to make a decision as to who I'm going to protect. And it wasn't that I didn't love my father or my mother anymore, any less, but it was a matter of, this is not the type of love that I want for me when I get of age, because the love that my father is giving to my mother is hurting her. And I found myself looking at my mother day in and day out, dealing with this physical abuse from a man that said that he loved her, from a man that when we went out in public, he was holding her hand, he was taking her jacket, you know, he was asking her, did she want anything, or did she want anything from the store, or making her plate. But then when we got home, there were some things that I obviously as a kid I missed. You know, my dad, I remember one time my dad, we got home and we taking off our coats and our jackets, and he hauled off and slapped my mama, talking about, yeah, you was smiling, you was too friendly in front of my brother's face. And I'm thinking, my uncle, he just hit my mama because my mama was laughing at my uncle's jokes. He was being funny. So my mom is literally about to get attacked again because my mother laughed at my uncle's jokes, and my dad was so insecure and jealous and envious that he thought that my uncle was trying to take my mama, or my mama was trying to get with my uncle. And all of this stemmed from a joke. All of this stemmed from from laughter. And it poses the question that I go back to. If you're tuning in, you're listening to, yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. You already know. It goes back to the topic of, what if we were loved correctly? See, one of the things that I learned about my father was he was having challenges with knowing who he was as a man, knowing where he came from, and knowing that the man that raised him his whole life wasn't even his father, and dealing with the insecurities of being raised by my grandma, who at the time was an alcoholic. The grandma, the G code that I grew up knowing, she wasn't an alcoholic to me. She was grandma that made spaghetti and chicken and greens and baked cakes. And, you know, she had the Jet magazines, and I always wanted to spend a night over her house. I didn't know the grandma that my father knew. The grandma that my father knew, the mother that my father grew up on, she was an alcoholic. She was abusive. You know, she would leave those kids and go off and do her own thing, like so many other generations. And it's happening now, generation after generation after generation. We going to go get high and go ride to Belle Isle and ride down to River Rouge or wherever to go park and sip and drink and have a good time. But we got our whole entire family and kids at home. That's just like the pictures of all these kids that got left at CJ Barrymore. Hundreds of kids being left at CJ Barrymore. Them white folks don't be leaving their kids, and if they do, they make sure they got their rides, they're being picked up on time, they are adamant about who they're with, and they're making sure that their kids are straight. And we got to get to a point where we are loving one another correctly, the right way. Not the way that you want to love somebody, but the way that somebody is supposed to be loved. And see, the thing about it is growing up, seeing how my mom and my dad interacted, it showed me that I didn't want that kind of love. And as I got older and we moved into a new neighborhood, I had a best friend that I grew up with. And I begged my mom if I could spend a night at her house. And my mom, they got to know, me and her were already friends because we kids, And so my mom, reached out to her mom and they talked. And, she wanted to find out about, the daddy. And that was, my friend's father. They were married. They were married for like 20, 30, 40 years before me and her had even became friends. So there was already a solid relationship. And I remember spending the night at their house my first time. And her dad would call her mama, and she would call him daddy. And he would be like, Mama, I'm getting ready to go to the store. You want something? And she'd be like, No, Daddy, I don't want nothing from the store. And I'd be like, your parents call each other Mama and Daddy? She'd be like, yeah, girl, they do that. That's what they do. They don't. And I used to, growing up, it was Kelly and Kenny. Kenny, those were my parents' names. It wasn't no Mama, you want something from the store, Daddy, you want some, honey on your biscuits. It wasn't none of that. It was, here go your plate, here go my plate, let's eat. It wasn't a serving of one another. And I missed that. I missed that era of, my mom, she served my dad to the capacity in which she wanted to, but that came with a price. And my dad didn't acknowledge or respect my mom serving him the way that she did. And for a long time, I was just like, I don't want nothing to do with no type of men like that. I'm just going to be straight. And so I've come to a place where if I deal with you on a personal level, it's because I choose to let you into my world. Not because I got to have a man, not because I want to have a man. It's because I choose to let somebody in. And so when a woman or a man lets you into their life, into their world, into what it is that they do, and they let you into their goals and let you into their dreams, it is your responsibility to love them the right way. It is not your responsibility to love them the way you want to love them. Because when you do that, it causes there to be brick walls that are going to be built up and resentment. It's like being in a relationship with somebody and you share all your hopes and dreams and you do all this pillow talk and you care about the person and you end up loving the person more than what you thought you would. And then here it is, this person don't want nothing to do with a relationship. They ain't trying to have no relationship. They just want to lay up. They just want to do their thing and keep it moving. And in your mind, you've already thought about future opportunities or relational opportunities, or them meeting your family or being in your life for a longer period of time than they see fit being in your life. That's why I always teach the young ladies that I mentor, you have to be careful of not giving yourself before you're ready to give yourself, because sex clouds your judgment. Sex clouds the decisions that you make. You can have a man and he had that wham bam thank you ma'am, he had that baby arm and he'll be giving it to you and he'll be laying that pipe down, but he has trauma that he's dealt with, and he's jealous, or he's envious, or he's lazy, or he doesn't have any goals, or he doesn't have any dreams, but he giving it to you, ladies. He giving you that thing, and that thing making you feel like, oh, okay, well, I'll pay this bill for you this time, or don't worry about it. I'll take care of it for this go around, because you being physically loved, you being he know he got that wham bam thank you ma'am, so he gonna give you that wham bam thank you ma'am because he knows it's gonna cloud your judgment. And it's the same thing with women. Women know that we got some powerful stuff down there, and if we give you that powerful stuff, we know that it's gonna potentially cloud your judgment, and you can't focus and you can't think. And I remember dating this guy, and he would tell me, I don't need nothing from a woman that I can't get for myself. And he had him a little pocket vagina. They call it a pocket P, and he had his little pocket P, and You know, he had his little money and he had his little stuff situated, and you know, he felt like he didn't need no woman. And the only reason why he felt like that was because he was broken by a woman. His ex-wife divorced him and took half of what he had worked hard for. So because he was traumatized and because they didn't love each other the right way, he feels bitter and he's burdened. And then there are some other relationships that men have been in. And don't get it twisted, ladies. Okay, when there are relationships and breakups and love involved and sex involved, men are just as emotional as women are, if not more. They just have a different way of sharing and showing their emotional ties. Most men, when they're hurt, they want to aim. They aim to shoot and kill. They want to shoot down your self-esteem. They want to shoot down, you know, that it ever meant anything to them. They want to make you feel like whatever we had wasn't nothing. It ain't nothing. This ain't what it was. But in actuality, in his heart, he know that he was feeling you. He know that he really liked you. He cared about you. He loved you. Blase, blase, split. So he got to put on that tough guy role. He got to put on that, you know, I don't give a F about her. This ain't that. That ain't this, you know. And usually men do it by exposing a woman. He does it by hurting her. He wants to hurt her. And let me tell you something. I don't want to be with no man that finds it okay to want to hurt a woman. If it don't matter. You may not say, well, I ain't physically hurt nobody. I ain't punch nobody. But words cut deep. And if you're not careful, life and death is in the power of the tongue. You can give your relationship and that love that you desire life, or that same tongue that you use to stick down her throat or his throat can tear that same person down that you claim you love. It's the same thing with friendships. It's the same thing with being a mother or a father with your children. That's why you got to be careful of how you deal with the people in your life. You have to be careful about how you love people and how you say that you love people, because sometimes your intentions may be to love a person a certain way, but it doesn't come out that way. It doesn't come out that way, and you can do more damage in a friendship or a relationship than you could by building it up. That's why I'm very careful of who I call my friends. I'm very careful of who I put out there as my man. I'm very mindful of who I consider to be family, who I consider to be foe, because you can't say you love me and is okay with hurting me. That's not love. That's not love. And you can't say that you love somebody, but you're always reminding them of what they've done to you. See, one of the things that I had to learn being married and being divorced and being in other relationships, that you can't heal in a place where you've been hurt. If all you're going to keep doing is reminding that mate or reminding that woman or that man that they cheated on you or that they hurt you and you can't seem to get past it, then that's a relationship that you don't need to be in. You need to go and you need to heal. See, it would have been difficult for me to take my ex-husband back, because you hurt me in a way where I'm going to always constantly be reminded that you hurt me. And see, when you are constantly nagging at your man or nagging at your woman about the past that they've done, it's hard to keep and build that relationship. Now, if they still doing the very thing that hurt you, if they still cheating on you, if they still have not committed to the relationship, you still engaged for 10 years, 7 years, y'all ain't got married, you done had a bunch of kids with this man, and he's still out here in these streets, baby, give it up. Because you're not gonna get the outcome that you want. And sometimes women think, oh, I'm gonna take this man from this woman, or I'm gonna take this woman from this man, or this man from this man, because you know a lot of y'all is lesbian, gays, bisexual, LGBT, and all of that in between. And those type of relationships, you hop from relationship to relationship, and you think you're going to find the love of your life, or you're going to change that person because now you're with them. And the mistakes that we make is that we don't ask enough questions and we don't give enough answers. We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to seem like we actually want to be in something that we claim we want to be in. We want to bypass all of the steps and go right to getting into the sack. And like I said before, when you are dealing with those type of relationships, it could be challenging. You know, we all want that teenage love that we had when we were kids. That, no, I'll hang up. No, you hang up. No, you call me back. No, you call me back. No, what you doing? No, what you doing? You know, but you get grown and you become an adult and you have life and you have bills and you have kids and you can't be, well, what you doing? Well, what you doing? It's more so like, well, what we about to do? Because I got a mortgage. You got a mortgage. I got stuff I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build an empire. I don't know what you trying to do, but it no longer goes from that young teenage love. I was telling my son the other day, we were talking about sex, because, you know, I love my son. I love my son so much. I want him to be very equipped on all levels, on all areas of life. I want him to be versatile. And I want him to be comfortable enough to come to me, to talk to me about things that I wasn't comfortable enough to talk to my mom and my dad about until they found out I was pregnant. Yeah, I know, right? So I was talking to my son the other day, and we were talking about sex, and, you know, I was telling him, I said, boy, you don't know nothing about no intimacy. You don't know nothing about getting to a point where you can make love to a woman without even sticking your penis in her vagina. And he like, what are you talking about? And da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I said, that's because you're so focused on getting served. You're focused on getting your nut off. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm add more to it. Y'all already know. You so focused on getting what you came to get that you ain't looking at the fact that when you are making love to a woman and a man have gotten to a place of maturity where they understand the power of sex and love making, that you're serving each other. I said, some of y'all young men and young women, y'all just want to have sex. Y'all just effing. Y'all hot, you too trot, and you ready to get it popping. And one of the things that I've learned as a woman of maturity is that you're going to do more standing up in a relationship than you are lying down. A real relationship. If you with a man and all y'all doing all day is getting high, drinking, laying up, y'all go to the park here, y'all go to the park here, that is not a productive relationship. That is not, I mean, if it worked for you, listen, whatever floats your boat, I'm happy for you. If that's all that it takes to keep you and maintain a relationship, then by all means, power to the people. But for me and my house, that's not happening. You're going to have to bring some things to the table, because I know I'm bringing some things to the table. In fact, I'm bringing the table and some chairs. Now, what are you bringing to the table? And the thing about it is that when you're young and you're dealing with that young love, there is not a lot that a person has to bring to the table. You know, when you're young and you're in love, it's like, I like you, you like me, we like each other. You like blue, I like blue. You like going to the movies, I like going to the movies. You like anime, I like anime. You know, back in the day it was, you know, I like Family Matters, you like Family Matters. You like Rugrats, I like Rugrats. You like, you know, this, I like this. I live in this neighborhood, you live in this neighborhood. I grew up doing this, you grew up doing this. And so it's very minor. It's very minor. It's very straightforward. It doesn't run deep. But when you get of a maturity age and a mature age where you want more out of life and you want more out of the mate and the person that you're with other than sex, because I'm going to tell you something. If somebody were to ask me, you know, what is your reasoning behind not having a lot of boyfriends and stuff like that? I get guys ask me, you ain't locked down, you don't got a bunch of boyfriends, because I don't want a bunch of problems. Dealing with a bunch of men comes with a bunch of problems. Then I gotta remember your name. I gotta remember what you like. I don't want to do all of that. I don't got time for that. Being in a polygamous relationship, it comes with so many problems. Not only sexually transmitted infections and diseases, that's a number one problem, but now you're dealing with all of these different spirits. I don't have time. I got enough going on in my own personality than to deal with you and your bipolarism and your 1 minute you're up, the next minute you're down. It's just too much. So when you're young and you're in love, you don't require much. But when you mature to a certain level, there are some requirements that need to be met. I don't want to date a man that doesn't deem to have life insurance, or doesn't seem to think that life insurance is important, or you don't have car insurance, or you are, when was the last time you got a sexually transmitted test? When was the last time you been to a doctor's? Like, those are things that I'm thinking about, because now I'm thinking about, okay, if I plan on being with this person for whatever amount of time frame, I want to make sure that this person is healthy. You're not going to be sticking your tongue down my throat and you walking around with herpes around your mouth. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. How often do you brush your teeth? Because I brush my teeth all day, every day. Scrape my tongue and everything else that's in between. I don't want to be dealing with no man that don't feel like his hygiene is important. That's very important to me. I'm not overlooking your dirty t-shirt. Like, you may get with her and she okay with you wearing white tees every day, all day. But I'm not trying to date a white tee brother. Sorry. Where your ties at? Where your button ups at? Where your khakis at? Where we got, I want to go play golf. Are you a brother that go play golf? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can go hang out in the hood all day. Don't get me wrong. I love me a little thug thizzle. You know what I'm saying? I am from Joy Road. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. But what substance do you have? See, when you're young and you're in love, you ain't really looking for no substance, because you're just attracted to a person. And that's where you got to decide, what am I doing with the people that I'm dating? What am I doing with the relationships that I'm building? It's like a person saying that they're your friend. Okay, yeah, we've been friends. We was friends in middle school. Yeah, we was friends in high school. Okay, but now we're grown. And so what I require as me being your friend as a kid and as a teenager is not the same as what I require as an adult. You're gonna have to bring a little bit more to the table, friend, than what we did when we were kids. So you can't say, oh, you love me, I'm your friend, I'm your BFF, I'm your lady, I'm all of these things, but you're okay with A, hurting me, B, seeing me hurt, and not doing anything about it. And see, pride and ego is the worst. It's the enemy's worst nightmare. You cannot base strong, productive relationships and think that ego and pride is going to have its place in those relationships. One of the reasons why my father felt it was okay to beat my mom and then turn around and go buy her a gift is from pride and ego. It was ego that wouldn't let him settle into his own thought process and say, what am I doing? This is not right. Why am I abusing and hurting the mother of my children? Why am I putting myself in a position where I am hurting somebody that I say that I love? Pride does that. Pride will say, I know I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. I did something wrong, but I'm not going to apologize. I'm not gonna feel bad for what I did. Pride will have relationships ending before they even start. Then you want to know why you're alone and you're 40 and you're 50 and you ain't in no relationship and you ain't never been married. Sometimes you got to check you. It don't always be them. Sometimes it be you. There were some things that I had to learn from my divorce about myself that I didn't even realize. I didn't realize that, I did some of these quirky, weird things that they didn't serve any purpose in me trying to build the relationship that I claimed that I wanted. There were some things about me that I had to change, that I didn't realize were deal breakers in relationships. But see, the difference between Zsa Zsa then and Zsa Zsa now is that I had to acknowledge it. I had to acknowledge it, and I had to be willing to change it. And see, some of us are not willing to change it. And one of the things that women do, women are always appeasing a man. They'll change their hairstyle. They'll change how they wear their makeup. They'll change how they dress, all to please a man. But then a man won't change nothing. He won't change how he talk to you. He won't change how he deal with you. He won't change, he won't make himself more available for you. He won't be more honest with you. And it's vice versa. It's vice versa. Because ego and pride have a tendency to tear down a relationship, a marriage, a friendship. We'll be okay knowing we hurt our friend or our friend is hurting, but we won't say, I messed up. You know, I don't know how we can get back on track. I don't know. You know, a lady, she offended me yesterday. I had went to a funeral, and she was like, you need to da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, lady, this funeral is almost over. I got my PP little clear thing that I wear, because that mask, it's breaking me out. I'm not trying to breathe in carbon dioxide, but I am being safe. I do wear my mask and I do wear my gloves. And we at the end of this funeral, and this lady got to all in my face, and I said, you need to back up. Just like that in church, because y'all know I ain't got no chill. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. You listen, you get clowned on where you show out at, okay? I'm a firm believer of that. And I was just like, back up off of me and get out of my face. I am at a funeral. You better go handle some other business, because I ain't the business that you need to be handling right now. Like, don't you see the tissue in my hand? I got tears coming down my eyes, and you talking about a mask, and the first lady that's sitting up here, she got the same thing that I got on. Go tell her to put a mask on. You better get out my face. And she saw how serious I was, because I was very serious. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. You're not about to be up in my face trying to dictate nothing. Go about your business. She came back, and she said, I just want to apologize for offending you. I am really sorry, and I hope you forgive me. In an instance, I could have been like, woo, 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 woo. Because you know that's what we like to do. We like to give a person a woo, 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 woo. I'd already chopped into her. But she had came back and she recognized that she had offended me. And she apologized. And see, when you get to a point in your life where you know you have offended somebody that you claim that you love, you are more willing to apologize and rectify a problematic situation opposed to letting it linger or allowing it to spread. Because see, a lot of our friendships, those that have fizzled on out, you know, relationship with family members, you got to block them and all kind of stuff. You know, I made a decision that I wasn't going to allow ego and pride to come within our family to tear it down. I could easily, you know, I gave my son a birthday party this past weekend, and shout out to Chef Greg Hamilton. Listen, he is a king on the grill. Shout out to Chef Greg. I definitely appreciate him. If y'all need to get a grill, because y'all know ain't nobody trying to have my weave. I ain't trying to have my weave smelling like barbecue, y'all. Ain't nobody got time. But I did make all the sides. But shout out to Chef Greg Hamilton, who grilled all of my meats. And when you genuinely care about somebody, you genuinely love somebody, you don't allow pride and ego to get in the way of apologizing when you know that you're wrong. See, a lot of relationships could have been saved by just a mere apology, by a mere acknowledgement that you have been hurt, or the fact that, you know, you weren't handled the way that you should have been handled. And the thing about it is that people know who they are. They know what they do. They know what they did and what they know what they didn't do. And it was so beautiful growing up seeing my friends' parents love each other the way that they did, because that made me desire that type of love. I want my man to be calling me mama, so I can be calling him daddy. Hey, daddy. Daddy, you want some water, honey? Because when a woman is loved properly and cared for, it doesn't matter what it is that you ask of her. She's going to make sure that it's done, and vice versa. But see, the question that I asked, and if you're tuning in, you're listening to, yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. The question that I posed to you was, what if you were loved the right way? You would probably have much more of a smile on your face. You would be more inclined to speak to people. You would be much more inclined to be nicer on your job. You'd be much more inclined to be more friendly. You wouldn't be so mean all the time. When a woman is loved the right way, when a man is loved the right way, you're nice. You're not mean and brutal and bitter and angry. And there are a lot of bitter women out here. There's a lot of bitter baby mamas and a lot of bitter baby daddies and a lot of bitter men and women, period. Like, you got to get that bitterness about your heart if you want to be loved the right way. You know, I ain't gonna lie, I was bitter with my son's father, because I felt like you couldn't maintain a relationship with me and our son, and then you turn around and go sleep with somebody that was supposed to be my friend, and turn around and have a bunch of kids with this person when you couldn't even maintain this. I was bitter. I was angry. I was frustrated. I was mad as hell. I was mad. And not only was I angry, mad, and bitter, but I was frustrated. I was disappointed. I was saddened at the fact that here it is. I've just had this man's child. That don't count for nothing. And see, this is the way that God works and he operates. Sometimes there were children that came into play from a relationship, but y'all wasn't supposed to be together from the jump. See, a lot of us don't want to be real with ourselves. And we don't want to acknowledge the parts that we played in a relationship. Yeah, they probably wasn't no good. Yeah, they probably was a cheater. Yeah, they probably was a liar. Yeah, they probably did some things that were unforgivable. Yeah, they made you feel a certain type of way. But you stayed in a situation a little too longer than what you were supposed to. See, one of the things that my ex-husband taught me is that you don't stay in a situation where you know you're unhappy. No, it's one thing. Yeah, you want to make it work for the kids, and yeah, you wanna y'all been together all this time. And yeah, you know, you got history. You know his mama know your mama. Y'all cousins was friends. Y'all grew up together. But ain't nothing more important than you loving yourself. And in order for you to get love the right way, you got to love yourself the right way first in order for you to obtain that love. Some of you all have stayed in relationships a lot longer than what you were supposed to, and you end up becoming bitter because you've given this person more time than what you were supposed to give them. You were supposed to exit stage left a long time ago. Yeah, I said it. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. See, one of the reasons why I ended up being hurt and frustrated and bitter is because I sacrificed my education and my time in a relationship that I was not supposed to be in the first place. I wasn't supposed to be in that relationship. But I was trying to make a relationship work that wasn't supposed to even work. It's like, I love puzzles and I love crossword puzzles. That's my thing, right? I don't know why. I don't know, it's maybe because of my old soul or maybe because I hung out with my grandma too much. I don't know. But I love puzzles. And one of the things that I love about puzzles and crossword puzzles is the fact that sometimes things look like they're working or they fit, but they really don't, right? It's like you take that piece of that puzzle and you're like, oh, I think I got a match, right? And it fits. It fits in that space, but it's not a perfect fit. It's not a perfect fit. And you thinking, you're like, man, if this only could fit, this will be the piece of the puzzle that I need. And it doesn't fit. And it's just like with a crossword puzzle. You think, okay, they got these spellings. And, oh, man, if I only had this letter, this would have been the word that I was looking for. No, this isn't the word that I'm looking for. No, this isn't the puzzle piece that I need. And sometimes we will try to make something work and fit into our lives that don't fit. And we get frustrated when the outcome and the result is not what we intended for it to be. You thought you was going to be able to change that man once you put it down in the bedroom. And it didn't change nothing. You thought, okay, I'll spend a little money on her and she won't cheat on me. But that didn't stop nothing. You thought, well, maybe if I give my kids everything that their hearts desire, maybe they'll be a lot more obedient. No, they ended up being worse. Well, maybe if I be more of a friend to them than they are to me, then maybe they'll understand how great of a friend I am. No, what it did was it made you put egg on your face. Because when you have people that genuinely love you, and I'm talking about love you, that John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave something. He gave his only begotten son. See, some of you are so selfish and selfish-minded or dealing with people that are selfish that they don't want to give up nothing. They don't want to give up the fact that I really care about you and I don't want to hurt you. But because I'm so selfish, I don't want to let you go because I enjoy how you make me feel. I enjoy the fellatio that you give me. I enjoy me being able to come in and out your house as I please. I enjoy being able to pick you up and call you in the middle of the night, and I know that I can come over, or I know that you'll come over because you're vulnerable, because you're lonely, and because you may have low self-esteem, or because you just want to get it in. And see, sometimes this is another caveat to the situation. I told you, sex can cloud a lot of people's decisions. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Because the thing about it is that relationships get tested. Men test women, women test men. It's inevitable. When you're dating, when you're married, we want to see how much does this person love me? I had a situation where I was dating this guy and I asked him, to get me a salad. I could have got the salad myself. I drove past a plethora of places where I could have obtained what it is that I wanted, but I just wanted to see what was going to be the outcome if I gave this person this task. And see, the thing about it is that men, they test women all the time. They want to see, they say certain things to see what type of scenario you're going to come out with, what you're going to say. They put you in certain positions to see how you're going to deal with them. They may not say certain things just to see how you're going to resolve. And it's the same thing with women. Women will do certain things to test out men to see, you know, is he really feeling me? Do he really care about me? Do he really like me? Does he really love me? You know, and those and so forth and so on. And I gave this guy this test, and I asked him to give me a salad, and it wasn't a matter of him getting a salad. He didn't want to leave from what it was that he was doing to go and give me a salad. And I remember dating this guy, and I remember telling him, you know, like, oh, tomorrow I cannot wait. I want to give me a breakfast. I want French toast. I want my eggs scrambled with cheese, and I want my sausages well done. And I'm telling him all this stuff. This was the night before, right? I wasn't expecting him to do it, but I was expecting him to listen to what I was saying. The next morning, I got a knock on my door, and it was a man with food from Grubhub, and it was breakfast. And he called me like, did you get your breakfast? And I was like, this man that got me some breakfast. He was listening. And he was on a whole nother side of the state. I was on a whole nother side of the state. But see, when you love somebody and you care about them, and you understand what it means to serve, you'll make provisions to do what it is that you need to do for the people you love. It's like a husband that's taking charge and understands that he's governed to lead a family. He's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that he knows that his wife and his children are loved. If that means getting 3 or 4 jobs. If it means, you know, cutting time short with the homie so that he can go spend time with his wife and his children. If that means, okay, bro, I can't have another brewski with you. I'll catch you on the flip side this weekend and we can chop it up. You know what I'm saying? But I got to get home to my family. See, when you start putting things into perspective about what it is that you really want, goes back to the question of if we were loved the right way. If we were loved the right way, a lot of who we've become would be a whole lot better. It's like a child that's been abused and they've been dealt a raw deal. They grow up angry. They grow up resentful. They grow up resenting parents because the parents beat them and took out all of this aggression. Y'all remember watching Antoine Fisher? I wasn't the only one that was like, what the heck? But it's so many people in this world and in the city and in our environments that have dealt with these traumas. And the traumas didn't come from, you know, a father just wanted to be a crackhead or a rolling stone, or a mother wanted to be a prostitute or be on drugs or work 3-4 jobs, but it was because of the environment that they had to succumb to. You know, as African Americans, we aren't just traumatized from you know, physical abuse. We're traumatized from the lack of love in our households. We are traumatized from the lack of love in our households. See, one of the reasons why white people, they had the love and they also had the money, but they compensated the love for the money. It's like little Johnny or little Jill. They got the car. They got to go on trips. They got to go, you know, and have a yacht growing up, but they didn't have the love. And that's why it's easy for little Johnny to say, F you, mom. I hate you. I'm going to go tell dad. I'm going to ask dad anyway. Dad's going to give it to me. It's easier for them to compensate their love with money. And then on the other side, we compensate by doing things or getting things when all a person simply wants is to be loved. It's like a baby. A baby doesn't know right from wrong when they come out of a mother's womb. All they know is the comfort of being in the womb of a woman, and there was love there. They were being fed. They were being talked to. They were getting attention. And so when they grow up and they grow older and they start developing their brain, they often find out, okay, I like that. I like the milk that they're giving to me in this bottle. Okay, I notice that when I cry, they come. Okay, I notice that when I poop or I make a boo-boo, then a parent is coming. And so as a child matriculates through life, they learn, okay, there's levels to love. And when you're not loving your kids or loving your friends or loving your mate or your spouse, well, whoever that may be, whether you be lesbian, gay, straight, heterosexual, parallel, vertical, I don't really care. I don't got a heaven and hell to put you in nowhere. But when you are loved correctly, life looks different. Life feels different. You have a different perspective when you're loved the right way. When somebody is giving you what it is that you need, is like the perfect mix of Kool-Aid. Have you ever had somebody's Kool-Aid and you like, man, this Kool-Aid is good. And it's like, man, they really put emphasis and time into making it. Kool-Aid is a very simple structured beverage. You got sugar, you got water, you got the Kool-Aid packets. And depending on the measurements and how much you put into what, it can come out very delicious and tasty, or it can come out very undersugared, very bland, or it can be oversugared. And that's the same thing with love. When it's given its appropriate amount here, an appropriate amount here, an appropriate amount there, the outcome and the results of that love ultimately becomes refreshing. It is fulfilling. But when you're overly loving somebody, you can feel what's the word I'm looking for? You can feel constricted, or you can feel like somebody is just like, they just like, okay, like you're just doing too much. Back up. Like, okay, I know you love me, but you're smothering me. That's the good word I'm looking for. A person that you just over loving, you feel smothered. They feel smothered, so they're running from you. And then a person that's not giving you enough love, it feels bland. You feel like, okay, like I'm not getting what I know that I deserve to have. And some of you are in relationships and friendships with people that are either they're overly loving you or they're underly loving you. They ain't giving you what you're supposed to have, but yet you steady drinking the Kool-Aid. You just like, it ain't what I want, but at least I got something to quench my thirst. You know, it's the same thing in a friendship. You know, we've been friends for this many years and, you know, this, that, and the third. No, if the friendship is not a loving friendship where that person is loving you the right way as your friend, that's not the love that I want, and that's not the friendship that I want. Because when you love a person, regardless if you're breaking up to making up, whether it's friendships that have a demise and they fizzle out, or a relationship that fizzles out, or parents and children have, you know, butt heads, or that sibling rivalry, you know, when there is love there, it comes back and it makes it stronger. And it could be some of the most minor things. Me and my son, we've had some major fallouts where I had to put him out. You got to go. Get up out of here. I don't know who kid you are. I don't know what enemy that got up in your brain. I don't know if you feeling froggy, because if you leap, I'm taking you out. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm gonna add more to it. But I know that I love my son so much that I will be willing to do anything and everything for him. But I also had to learn that when my son became of age where he knew what he was doing, he had to learn how to deal with me as his mother. It's the same thing with friendships and relationships. You can love somebody all you want to, but until they learn how to maneuver and deal with your likes and your dislikes and your loves and your not so much loves and the quirky things that you like and the quirky things, it's like somebody saying, I don't like when you do this. And if they love you enough, they'll be willing to change that, because they love you enough to say, they said that they don't like it, so who am I to keep doing it? But see, when a person doesn't have high regard for you and they don't really care, they gonna do whatever it is that they want to do. So if you say, you know, I'm not a big fan of fried chicken, but yet every time you come over, she cooking fried chicken. She not holding high regards of what it is that you like and what you love. That's why, you know, when it comes to dating and developing friendships, you gotta ask more questions. You got to ask more questions, because you don't want to get to a situation where you dating your cousin, you dating your a family member, a friend, a foe, because this world is so small. Detroit is so small. Michigan is small. Yes, it's a lot of land. It's a lot of land and it's a lot of water, but the people that occupy the land is small. You're like two people away from knowing somebody in a whole nother world, in a whole nother country. And the thing about it is that we have to start asking a lot more questions. We have to start actually collecting data, like my pastor, Bishop J. Drew Shear, says. The dating phase is about collecting data. It's about getting to know a person, whether or not you want to spend time with them. And the thing about it is that if a person is dating you or being friends with you or a parent to your children, time is required. You cannot say you love somebody and is not willing to spend time with them. You cannot say that this relationship is of value to you and you're not willing to put that time in. Ladies, I'm gonna tell you something. I don't care how busy that man say he is. If that man want to spend time with you, he's gonna make time for you. Period, point blank. I don't care if he got 5, 6 jobs. If that man cares about you and loves you, he is going to spend time with you. He's going to spend time with you that he could have used towards something else. Don't ever let nobody tell you that they were so busy and the only time that they got for you is in the middle of the night, because he's using you as a booty call, and it's vice versa. Now, if you don't mind being a booty call, then do you. I ain't got nothing to say about it. If you like it, I love it. But don't get yourself so, because love can have a person mentally messed up. And it goes back to the question, if you're tuning in, you're listening to Yeah, I Said It. And before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. Make sure y'all share this video, guys. Make sure you follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, subscribe to my YouTube channel, you know Zsa Zsa. And the thing about the question that I posed to you, what if you were loved the right way? What if we were loved the right way? We wouldn't go seeking love from all of these different places, from all of these different people, from all of these different scenarios. And some of us, we've been hurt, not so many times, but we've been hurt to a point by somebody that we genuinely loved that caused us not to want to love again. You know, I could easily say, you know, my ex-husband, he did a damper on me. He pulled one on me, and, you know, forget all men. They're all the same. I could easily say, I'm about to get out here and do my thing, and, you know what I'm saying, I don't love these pros, but that's not who I am. That's not my forte. That's not how I operate. And I want to lead with love instead of leading with bitterness or leading with hurt and false judgment and you know, self-seeking. Because when you are only looking to fulfill you, that's not love. That's not love. And the thing about it is that you only know love when you know you. When you know you, for those gentlemen and ladies out there that are still trying to find themselves, it is going to be hard to maintain a true relationship when you don't know you, when you don't know your likes and your dislikes, and what are your trigger words, and you know what genuinely makes you happy, what do you love about you. Because if there in fact is a breakup, or in fact they decide that they want to walk away and leave this relationship, you're still going to be left with you. And sometimes when you're in a relationship and it doesn't work out, sometimes you feel like a part of you has been taken with them. They took a part of you with them. Let that part of you go. Redevelop a new part of you. I know when my ex-husband, or any of my exes for that matter, see me, they be like, I don't even know her. Like, she's not the same Zsa Zsa that I know. Even though I'm Zsa Zsa, I'm that same Zsa Zsa, but I'm not the Zsa Zsa they remember me being. You know, it's harder for somebody to combat with you when you're the same person that they left you as. You still living at your mama house. You still driving your mama car. So it's easy for us for there to be some type of clowning going on, because you ain't progressed. So we can't have no real dialogue because you have not grown. And it's like a person who has a friend, and all they ever want to talk about is what we used to be and what we used to do and how we used to get it in. Okay, well, how do we progress in this friendship on what we getting ready to do, what we about to do? How do we get to that point? And see, when envy and jealousy is involved, it's hard to have a progressive and a productive, fruitful relationship. As we're out here dealing with COVID, stay covered up. Just because it's hot outside and we are, we've been able to get out here in these streets, don't allow you looking for love in all the wrong places and being out here in these streets cause the numbers to rise back up here in Michigan. Because at the end of the day, yeah, they letting us out, and people out at Belle Isle, at River Rouge, they all everywhere that they need to be, but cover yourselves up. If you love yourself enough, you will protect yourself, and protecting yourself will also allow you to protect others. It's not okay for you to go out here and do what it is that you want to do and not protect yourself or protect others. And not only that, but because we love each other and we should love each other as a people, we want to make sure that we are protecting one another as a people. I seen a clip the other day of this white man beating up this white woman, and this black man came in and swooped that white guy on up and gave him a 2-piece and a biscuit. That's where we need to be. We need our brothers protecting our sisters protecting our brothers, and protecting our children. Because if we don't do it, nobody else will. Yeah, I said it, and before I take it back, I'm going to add more to it. I love y'all. Until next time, peace.